What's up, guys? All right, so I'm about to do a ball fade. Um, there are a couple different fades that you can do. This one is with an actual ball fade, not a bald drop fade. I am going to be doing a video coming up soon here with the ball drop fade, but this is the actual ball fade. The difference is the balding line comes up to the occipital bone. So I'm balding him all the way up until I get to the occipital bone. Whereas with the drop fade, you bald it a little bit lower. The clipper I am using is a T outliner. It's actually one of my favorite clippers to line up with, also to bald with. And so I will forever, well, let me not say forever because things change. There are great quality of clippers, but for me, these are my fave. So I am using the Andes T outliner to bald these. Also, as you guys can see, I have trimmed the head off because I like it like that because it gives it more air and the clippers don't get as hot as fast. So that is the reason why I did do that on these particular clippers. Again, if you guys have like any questions, comments, please leave comments down below and I will get back with you and answer them as soon as possible. So now we're just finishing out the balding and we're going to that's our first guideline. I think everybody fades differently. So for me personally, I like to create that first line and then I like to get my length down on what I'm going to probably have at the top and on the sides. So now you can say I'm taking my masters. I'm using a 1. I'm going with the grain of the hair, bringing down the length that I do want. So I'm using a 1 with the masters. Going all the way around getting his hair down to the length that I do want. He wants like a wavelength, but not too low, still keeping it dark. So for me, I like to have my masters open with a 1. I'll usually try that first, and then if they do want a little bit lower, I'll just kind of close it halfway, keep closing it if they, to get it down to their desired length. Throughout this, you'll actually see me using a comb. Sometimes you'll actually see me using a brush. A lot of the times I use a comb when I'm trying to get all those hairs, bring them all down. I'll use a comb usually when I'm fading a lot. Then you'll kind of see me use the brush like when I'm lining up. Sometimes throughout the cut, you may see me using the brush as well. It really goes to what is comfortable for you. Like I said, everybody cuts differently. Everybody uses different tools. But for me, I start off usually using the comb, just kind of getting all those, those hairs, those fine areas. And then I'll go back. I'll start using the brush as I'm like maybe trying to get all the excess hair out and whatnot. Still using a 1, taking it down to the desired length. Because for me, I like to do this because after this step, once I fade up, I like to be able to have that desired length already at the top. So I just know that I'm fading up into what I have at the top, which is a 1. Still doing a 1 and getting his hair down to the desired length at the top. And like I said, I'm sure barbershop talk was going on at this point as well. Also, when you're doing haircuts, make sure you're talking to your client and make sure that you're also getting and you're understanding what it is exactly that they want. When I am doing a consultation with a client and we're talking, I'm making sure I'm like, do you want a drop fade? Do you want a ball fade? What does that look like? A lot of the times you have to explain that because sometimes they don't know. The terminology is different, maybe because they're from a different area than you. Because I know some people that use a temp as a fade, so yeah. Right now, what I'm doing is I am taking setting lotion. And some people don't do this. Like I said, every barber cuts different. When I am doing a wave cut, I take setting lotion. I put some like a drop in my hand, a couple like maybe 2 drops. I did not show it, but I will put the bottle up later and give you guys information on what I use. I put it and I lay it on their hair to lay it down. Then I will take a razor edge and I spray that on a neck strip. I'll spray it on their hair, and what you can see right now is what I'm using is razor edge. Spread it all over the hair on top of the setting lotion. Now I'm gonna take my blow dryer and I'm gonna blow dry it and brush. Like I said, everybody's different. Like I said, only certain times I use the brush, sometimes I use the comb. Right now, as you can see, I'm using a brush, getting all that into the hair, brushing it. I probably use the blow dryer for about a minute so I can make sure that it stays on and it's pretty solid. And then I'm going to continue with the fade. But just kind of setting myself up for later on. Okay, so now what we're about to do is we have the masters and we're just going open. We're about to do our second guideline. So now we have the masters completely open, going against the grain of the hair. We're going to go all the way around. As you can see, now I am using a brush instead of a comb now that I am fading. That is my preference though. Again, whatever you choose, that is on you. That is your particular preference. Every barber is different. This is now my second guideline. Also, one of my favorite clippers to fade with, I am going to say, is the Andes. I'm sorry, not Andes. The Masters. The Masters. They're one of my favorite clippers to fade with. Kind of also to take hair down with as well because it's like very precise to me. I like the fact that a one actually stays dark and looks like a one. I feel like when I'm fading with the Masters, it gives you a really, really clean blend. So for me, the Masters are my fade clipper of choice. Again, if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will answer them as soon as possible. Now I'm taking a zero. Took a zero and I'm going now against the grain. I'm using the purple magnetic strips. Magnetic strips. I'm using the purple guards on the Masters. Going against the grain to get that second line out. And in that fading process, you probably can't see it because I'm adjusting the clipper, but when I'm doing this fading, I am closing it, doing some of it halfway, some of it open all the way. It really just depends on the weight line that's right there. And so for me, like right now, it is open. I'm going against the grain. I'm probably going to close it a little bit. If I still see once I do it open, and that on that line, once I do see that it's open and I do see some dark spots, I may close it halfway to get the rest of that out. So that looks like a really clean blend. So you really can't see me adjusting it, but I am adjusting as I go. And I believe I just kind of closed it halfway to get the rest of that line out. Honestly, it's so crazy because I'm gonna give you a little backstory. Um, I hated ball fades. When I first started cutting hair 10 years ago, I absolutely hated doing ball fades. It was actually one of my worst haircuts. I think the longest I took on a ball fade was like an hour and a half. And an hour and a half, it was on a walk-in. It was when I first started working in this shop, and I was like so embarrassed. But ultimately, practice makes perfect, and that is like a true fact. Literally, if you continually practice something, you could continually to do something over and over again, repetition wise, you're going to get it down. Now I could probably do a ball fade with no like enhancement or anything like that, no extra stuff, within 15 minutes. um, but again, that took a lot of practice, a lot of me just doing it repetition over and over again. It's actually now one of my favorite haircuts to do, and because I think for me, I just love the blend. I love the way it looks. Goes from bald up into like a one or a two. I love that blend. That's like so for me, that's actually like one of my favorite. This is actually one of my favorite haircuts to do. So I wanted this actually to be one of my first videos um, that I put on my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it as well. All right, so we're still going with the one. We're just getting the line out and going all around the head, just trying to get the rest of that line out. Right now, I know you guys can kind of see right here in the back, that line is not straight. That bottom line, that first line, is not a straight line. It does not have to be. Reason being is because you're going to blend it out. You're going to blend it out. So once you blend it out, that's no longer going to even be a prior. It's not even going to affect it at all. I try to get my lines though as clean as possible, as straight as possible. But because I know I am going to bald that out, I really don't stress too much about it. So as you can see, like right here in the back of the head, you can kind of see it kind of comes down a little bit and goes up a little bit. Don't worry about that. We're going to blend that out later on, in which you're going to see. As you can kind of see, I'm adjusting the clipper, kind of going in and out. That's what I was talking about before. As far as sometimes you're going to close it a little bit more, you're going to open a little bit more. It kind of just depends on the weight that you guys have right there on the hair, on that hairline, and the weight that you're trying to get out. So yes, you are going to be opening the clipper, closing the clipper some, but again, it just kind of varies. And as you can see, I'm probably talking to my client because my hands are moving and we're into a full deep conversation as well. All right, so as you can see now, I'm kind of going with the grain of the hair. I am going with the grain of the hair. Sometimes I do that as well because now you've went against the grain. So now you're going to go with the grain of the hair to kind of just lay it down. To try to, again, that also takes out weight when you go with the grain of the hair. Actually, that takes out weight as well. All right, so now I am now about to get this ball line, that first line that we created. I'm now about to get it out. So I'm taking my masters and I close them all the way. So pretty much I have zero gap the masters. So a zero gap in the masters is equivalent to a balding with the T-liners. Again, if you zero gap your masters, it is equivalent to the balding of your T-liners. Okay, so you're going to be able to get that line out. You're going to see later on though, I'm going to also go back over that line. What you put in is what you're going to get out. That goes for haircuts as well. So at the bottom, that bottom line that you're going to see me go back over a little bit later on with the T-liners to get this line out. But right now, because I have zero gap my masters and whatnot, you're going to see me use them to get this bottom line out. This is the original, the first line. Completely closed. I apologize. It looks like my I was using my ring light and it got a little dark in there. So hopefully, I think you guys can still see it pretty well. Yeah. So as you can see right there, um, you still see a little bit of a line. I'm going to go back with that though, like I said, with my liners. But right now, with these masters, I am now going back over that first initial line that we created. And as you can see, when I say you don't have to really worry about the fact that that line was a little crooked at the bottom, you're going to see me start blending that out, and then you're no longer be able to see it anyway. So it'll be fine. All right, so right now, as you guys can see, I put a one back on because I saw some weight. So again, everybody cuts differently. I am going to finish out that last line at the bottom, but when I do see something, I try to attack it right then and there. As you can see, saw something, took my one, went against the grain. Now I'm back with my masters all the way close, getting out that last line. As you can see, the blend is coming in there pretty well. Making sure that I get all that weight out. I love my boy Kenyatta. He's a great, great client. I've been cutting him for since he was in college, so I've been cutting Kenyatta for over like 6 years now. I love my clients, great people. All right, so as you guys can still see, we're taking that zero gapped master and getting that original line out. And as you can kind of see, the blend is now coming together. The haircut is now coming together. We're pretty much knocking all this out. We're going to start doing that lineup process in a minute. Again, you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And I will get to them as soon as possible and answer all your questions, all the questions that you guys have. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. I really greatly appreciate it. Got some barbershop talk happening, I'm sure. Again. All right, so the same thing that you guys saw me spray on earlier was the razor edge. I put that on the face as well. Now, I do that because to me, it lays the hair down and it gives it a really crispy line. And I like all my hairs to stay in place. So that is the reason why we use the razor edge. Okay, now I'm going with my fast feeds. I love these. I love these. Number one, they're cordless. Number two, they as far as the desired length, for the most part, they bring this stuff down to the desired length that I really, really want. So I really, really do like them. For travel purposes, I do also enjoy all cordless. If I do plan on going all cordless very soon. But for now, because I wish they had a cordless master, to be honest. They need to come out with that. So, but yeah, so I'm just taking down all the hair, his desired length that he wants on his face. And I'm using a 1. I'm using a 1 on his face, going with the grain. All right, so now we're about to go through the lineup process. Again, like I said, T outliners, NDT outliners are my favorite, by far my favorite to line up with. Absolutely my favorite. All right, so for me, I use enhancement on my haircuts. I don't use it on all my haircuts, but I do use it on my haircuts. I give my client what it is they want. I'm not opposed to it, but also I don't feel like enhancement should be used to cover up incomplete work. So for me, even once this enhancement comes off, he's still going to have a good haircut, and you're still going to be able to see that he has a good haircut. It just enhances the haircut. So I use two things. For me, I use the Black Magic spray, and also I use Topic. So everybody, like, again, every barber is different. Whatever you choose to use, that's fine. I know some people that use airbrush. I know some people that use the detailer pencil. I know some people that use Kiss Express. I use Kiss Express as well sometimes. It really depends on the client, the client, what they prefer. I have some clients that don't like Black Magic, and they like just Topic only, or they'll just like the detailer pencil with no Topic. Like I said, everybody's different. So once I do the Topic, the enhancement, I use holding spray. Usually I use Paul Mitchell holding spray, but in this particular video, I'll usually use Dark and Lovely holding spray. And then I also use that razor edge as well for holding. I used to use spritz. Reason I stopped using spritz though is because I do not like all the buildup. All the buildup once it dries, all the cake that buildup that is built up on the line once you use the razor and everything, I do not like it. So for me, that's why I went to this. I went to Paul Mitchell holding spray. But right now, you guys can see I'm using Topic. And the black thing that is in my card is it's just a card so that I can have a straight line. Once you put on the holding spray over the enhancement, take the blow dryer and like do it for like maybe like a minute. I'm trying to figure out why this is so long. This little pause right here. I was untangling my blow dryer actually. All right, so now we're using a blow drying him off as well, drying the hair. As you can see, when I brush my hand across his haircut, you do not see any enhancement coming off. You do not see anything coming off onto his head. So now we're gonna go with the razor and get our finishing touches going. Sometimes on the face, I would just use a razor only. I won't even line it up first with the teeth outliners. For me, that's just a preference for me. But like I said, every barber is different. Everybody's strategy is different. So for me, even on the face, like that top line of the beard, I may just only use the razor only. Underneath the beard though, I will probably just use the clippers because a lot of men are sensitive with the razor underneath their neck. So I'll just use the clippers underneath their neck. But I definitely use the razor on that top line of their beard. Yeah, cuts coming together real nice. Putting those finishing touches on it. Excuse my hair and my head being in the way. But again, I thank you guys for watching and rocking with me. I appreciate this so much. I just want to get some knowledge. Some people have hit me up as far as doing videos and whatnot. So um, I'm working on it. So it's definitely a work in progress. But I'm happy that, uh, I can give you guys this information. You don't lose it by giving it. I'll tell you that. I'm a derby blade person, so for me, I use derby blades in my straight razors. Make sure you are pulling the skin when you are using a razor. You are pulling the skin. I can't stress that enough. Pull the skin. Yes, like right there with my left hand, I'm pulling the skin. Pull the skin down when you're going to up. Pull the skin down. Just finishing him off with this straight razor, y'all. And we got him in the game. And just because I did the razor, I'm now about to go back over it with my T eyeliners. Get those crazy hairs, get that residue that may be on there, kind of hit it again with the liners, and then we're going to be done. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. This was a ball fade. I'm happy that you guys are watching this. Again, thank you so much. Please let me know. Leave comments down below. Let me know what other videos you guys want me to do, other cuts that you guys will want to see. And please follow me on Instagram. It's Bria J Cuts with an S. Show love. I will greatly appreciate it. Share this, repost this. Give me all the feedback, please. I kind of just go back now. I'm kind of just doing finishing touches, kind of going over it, blending in something that, blending his beard out, going into the fade, or, so kind of just going over things with the finishing touches at this point. To me, a haircut is not complete until you take shears over the haircut and get the little hairs. It's in the detail, people. It's in the detail. This is detail. This is detail. So to me, this is the finishing touches of a haircut right here. Taking the shears, getting those little hairs, making sure all the hair is laid down, going back, looking at the fade, looking at the haircut, making sure that the line is good. Thank y'all so much, man, for tuning in. I greatly appreciate you.